Hey good people, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you all my review on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 12 episode 17. Let's go. So the episode opens up with the aftermath of the night before, where that "see you next Tuesday" phrase has made its comeback. Thank you, Diana. So it's Kyle, Renna, and Erika sitting at the table and they are discussing the night before. I don't know why Kyle felt the need to let Nikki and Paris know about what Kathy wore to the airport coming into Aspen. Kyle, why was that so important to you? Y'all let me know. Do y'all feel like Kyle is always trying to make Kathy look bad? I'm gonna talk more about that later in the review, but that's the vibes that she's been giving me for quite some time now. And as a sister, I don't really like that. Anywho, they start to talk about Sutton. Kyle says that Sutton is great one-on-one. She understands her humor and everything else, but when she gets in the group with everybody, she just can't figure her out. I don't know what Kyle's talking about. I think that Sutton is who she is. She does not portray herself to be one way with one person and then a completely different person in front of the group. So I don't know what she's talking about. Of course, Erika Jayne is agreeing with her. We already know, Erika, you don't like Sutton, so I'm not surprised that you're trying to agree with Kyle. Kyle then goes on to say something that I just can't wrap my mind around. Maybe you guys can help me out here. She goes on to say that Sutton and Garcelle's actions, basically as it relates to them unfollowing Erika, is classic mean girl stuff. What in the world are you talking about, Kyle? That's classic mean girl stuff? So they have to follow someone that they don't like, but it's okay for this woman to call Sutton a "see you next Tuesday," and that's not considered classic mean girl? There's nothing wrong with that? You have nothing to say about that? Girl, bye. Like, really, Kyle? Girl, I can't wrap my mind around you. You want to sit here and talk about you can't wrap your mind around Sutton. You're sitting there and you see wrong, but you completely have nothing to say about it. You just overlook it like it's just another day in the neighborhood. I can't. Sutton, Garcelle, and Cherie are on their way to pick up Erika. They have decided to go, I believe, snowboarding instead of going skiing with the rest of the group. Sutton said that she slept well the night before, and I'm glad to hear it because there was a time where Sutton would be all distressed and had to collect herself and everything else, but for the most part she has handled herself pretty well. Cherie is giving Sutton advice and letting her know, listen, I don't think that you should go into this whole outing with Erika feeling like she's a non-friend. Cherie encourages her to go and have fun. Now, I'm usually down for Cherie. I really like her being on the show. I want to hear more of her insight on the different things that are happening within the group, but you sitting there telling Sutton that she should not think of Erika as a non-friend is laughable to me, because Erika, every chance she gets, dogs Sutton out, and she's always looking to get a negative reaction out of Sutton. To me, calling someone out of their name the way that she has is as low as you can get. And I personally would not want to be cool or be around somebody who speaks like that to me. I'm sorry, but I feel like this whole trip, this whole outing that these four are going to be going on is going to be super awkward. So Kyle goes downstairs and is talking to Kathy. The one thing that I love about Kathy is she just does her own thing. She seems to be completely unbothered by these group of women, and she sleeps in. She walks around the airport with her slippers on. She just is like a regular person to me, as opposed to this rich, untouchable type of person, and I really enjoy her. So Kyle is downstairs talking to her, and she's letting her know that Dorit actually left the guest house in the middle of the night and went to stay with Diana at her hotel. According to what we hear, Dorit explained to Kyle she was so uncomfortable in the guest house and felt that being at the hotel was much more of a safe place for her to be. I just don't know, Dorit, girl. Like, I just feel like you're just trying to continue this whole alleged robbery thing, and I'm not catching what you're putting down. For me, she probably was done being around Garcelle, Sutton, and Cherie, and she was like, okay, let me just go over with Diana. Because she wasn't going to go to Kyle's and sleep on one of the bunk beds with Kathy. So it's Kyle, Crystal, Renna, and Dorit. They're going to pick up Diana so that they can all go skiing. So they go skiing, and now they're at lunch. Diana claims that she was trying to be civilized with Sutton for quite some time. Renna points out, oh yeah, you was trying to be civilized with her for like 2 months. Pretty much Diana is trying to say that she was trying to give Sutton a chance. She was being civilized with Sutton and she just had enough. And I guess this is her way of defending the fact that she called Sutton a "see you next Tuesday." Defending the fact that she agreed that Sutton is a "see you next Tuesday." She goes on to double down in her confessional and say that she stands behind what she said. I'm not surprised. She is just vile. You know, I feel like Diana, Renna, they all need to go. Just go. You're disgusting. And take Erika right along with you. Over in Garcelle's van, it's completely quiet. Obviously, these women have nothing to talk to each other about because Garcelle and Sutton just don't get along with Erika. They do arrive at the ranch. Sutton is over there becoming one with the animals while the rest of the women are sitting there getting instructions on how. I felt like Cherie and Garcelle on the snowmobile were everything. Cherie was apparently going too fast for Garcelle, and Garcelle kept trying to tell her, slow down. I don't know. I just found them to be really cute. Over on the slopes, Diana is talking about how she was self-taught as far as skiing is concerned and that her dad brought her some skis and made her figure it out. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know how much skis are, and I don't know if you have to go where she grew up, if there was like a special skiing place that they had to go to or whatever. But I'm like, girl, didn't you say you was poor? Anywho, Sutton explains to her group of women that everything has gotten to her based on what Diana was saying to her the night before. And here goes Erika making every excuse in the book for Diana. She says that Diana was cut deep by the things that Sutton said. And I'm like, girl, what did Sutton say to cut Diana so deep? Garcelle goes on to say in her confessional that if she were Sutton, she would never speak to Diana again. She says, if someone can cut you down like that, why would you want to be friends with them? Girl, absolutely. That just doesn't apply to Diana. That should apply to Erika too, because Erika 100% has cut Sutton down. And let me tell y'all something else. I'm watching these women and their dynamic with one another, and I feel like Erika does better when she's not around Kyle and Renna. I actually enjoy seeing Sutton and Erika have a good rapport with one another. Those are just my thoughts. Erika says to Sutton that sometimes when she's apologizes, it doesn't come across as authentic. I don't know what Erika is talking about. Sutton apologized, and I felt like her apology was authentic. The person who wasn't authentic is Diana, who said that she was okay with the apology, only to come and find out that she really wasn't. So let's call a spade here. Erika then goes on to start talking about her Instagram feuds, letting the women know that her response to people was coming from a place of pure emotion. And for a moment, y'all, I thought that she was apologizing to Sutton for calling her "see you next Tuesday," but she's only talking about these Instagram people that she has beef with, which I thought was very interesting. Garcelle asks Sutton how she's going to handle the whole Diana situation, and Sutton says that she'd rather sit next to Erika than sit next to Diana. She likes Erika. And this is the thing with Sutton. Sutton, girl, you like Erika. Erika does not like you. You and her have this thing where y'all kind of are cool with each other, and then when she gets around these other women, she acts like she has the biggest issue with you. And I'm starting to see that that's a pattern with a lot of them. Renna was good with Sutton until she got around the rest of the group, and then she had a problem with her. Diana said that she was fine with Sutton until she got around the rest of the group, and now she had a problem with her. And we see the same thing ongoing with Erika every time you turn around. I would not buy into the BS if I was Sutton. You need to stand by what you said. You don't mess around with these women, and that's that. Period. Garcelle says in her confessional that she thinks that Sutton and Erika would actually be good friends if they let their guard down. She feels like they really have a fun time together. And like I said earlier, I agree. It's not about letting your guard down. It's about who the rest of the company is that they're keeping. Again, when you take Lisa, Kyle, and maybe Dorit out of the equation, Erika and Sutton are completely fine. I actually enjoy Erika more when those women are not with her. Everybody is back at their respectable houses. Garcelle and Crystal start discussing the whole earring situation. If you're not familiar, Tom Girardi, who's Erika's estranged husband, had his law firm purchase a $750,000 pair of earrings for Erika. Both Garcelle and Crystal agreed that they would not want the earrings. They would just give the earrings back to help pay for some of the damages that the victims were supposed to receive. Now, we all know that Garcelle has said that she and her co-host on The Real are going to be talking about this whole thing. I'm looking at Garcelle like, girl, I really feel like you should let Erika know that you've had this discussion on television. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of people might not agree with me. A lot of people might say, you know what? Garcelle does not owe Erika anything. They're not friends. They established that the night before. I totally agree with that. But this is somebody that you're filming with. This is somebody that you are around. And I just feel like the right thing to do is to be like, listen, we talked about it. This is what I said. So there's no surprises. And not only so that there's no surprises, but so these women can't try to come at you for saying what you said. The one thing that Garcelle has demonstrated being on this show, in my opinion, is that she really does say what she feels to these women. She had no problem letting Erika know, listen, I don't believe that you didn't know anything about this legal situation that you're in. So if you can say that to her, certainly you can tell her this is going to be a topic on the show that I'm a part of. That's just my opinion. Now all of the women are getting ready for dinner, and Sutton is wearing this leopard dress. It's a revealing dress. Her breasts are out a little bit, and I have never seen Sutton wear anything like this. Sutton, who are you going to see? I thought it was hilarious. She's trying to get on the van, telling Cherie that if she falls back to please get her. And Cherie was like, girl, I ain't got time for that. Get on this van, it's too cold. At the dinner, Erika and Garcelle are sitting next to each other. And for two people who said that they don't want to have anything to do with each other, they don't want to have a friendship, I think it's very interesting just to see them conversating. And in my opinion, Erika looks like she really wants to have more of a relationship with Garcelle than Garcelle wants to have with her. That's the vibes Erika is giving me. So the women start talking about designer things that they have, and I'm looking at Erika like, during this particular conversation, girl, I think it's best that you just stay quiet. But nope, Erika starts to talk about her Bottega, I believe it's called. If I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. But she's starting to talk about this $1,800 purse that she has, and then she goes on to talk about all of these other very expensive items that she has. And Lisa Rinna's face says it all. She is looking at Erika like, girl, shut your mouth, okay? Shut up. Stop talking. Garcelle says in her confessional, this is not a good look. Girl, you have this legal case going on and you're over here talking about all this stuff that you've accumulated. Not smart. Totally agree with you, Garcelle. Doesn't this kind of remind you of when Garcelle said to Erika, I don't have to make you look bad. You do a good job of that already yourself. This is one of those moments where that would apply. Garcelle does bring up the earrings to Erika, and we find out that the earrings weren't $750,000, but they were $1.3 million. Once again, Erika, girl, shut it up. So Garcelle asks Erika, don't you want to give them up? And Erika stumbles over her words, girl. She don't know what to say to Garcelle. So she says, well, you have to let the legal process play out. And Garcelle said, well, why not just give up the earrings so that the victims can get some of the money? And Erika is shaking her head like, nope, I'm not doing it. Stubborn to the T. Do y'all hear me? Erika says that if the judge says that she should give them up, she would. Garcelle says in her confessional, after hearing what Erika has to say about everything, she doesn't want to give her the heads up about the conversation that they have on the reel. And again, Garcelle, I don't understand why not. Why would you give these women something to throw back in your face? That would have been the perfect time for you to just let her know, these are my feelings about it. And we also had a segment on the reel, and this is what I had to say. I just don't understand it. So here goes Kyle at the table trying to play Kathy again, talking about her purse or whatever that is that Kathy had. Kyle, just because you walk around in dripping designer and all of that other type of stuff, that doesn't mean that that's how Kathy is. Okay? Kathy is very low key. She's not throwing her wealth in your face or anything like that. I don't understand why every chance Kyle gets, she has to poke fun or, draw attention in a negative way to her sister. First, she talked about the slippers. Now she's talking about her bag. Before, she was talking about how high maintenance Kathy was, even though Kathy really wasn't being high maintenance with the corn and the utensils and all of that. I'm like, Kyle, can you please stop? What's your issue? It almost comes across like she's really jealous of Kathy. As I stated earlier, for me, I think it's really refreshing that Kathy is super rich and doesn't flaunt it in your face. So the ladies are all going over to the guest house. I'm telling you, when these women arrive at the guest house and they're panning through the room and showing us little conversations here and there that they're having, I'm looking at these women like they are all drunk. What is going on here? Erika definitely seemed like she had one too many. Renna's over here passing out edibles, and she tries to give one to Cherie. Cherie's looking at her at first like, girl, I don't know you like that. So Kathy busts out the tequila, and this is the first time that I've ever seen Kathy with the tequila. They do show flashbacks of her at other times discussing the tequila. She and her two daughters are part owners, if I'm not mistaken, so she wants the women to taste it and let her know what they feel about it. Kyle is making some crazy noise, and Kathy's looking at her like she's really irritated and really wants them to take what she's asking them to do seriously. And pretty much from what I see, nobody drinks the tequila. And I really felt bad for Kathy because you could see that she was really being serious about this. And as far as I've seen, since Kathy has been on the show, she's been supportive with everyone and the little things that they have going on. If I'm not mistaken, she was at Lisa Rinna's wine tasting she did go ahead and support Dorit's charity, Homeless Not Toothless. So you guys just gonna take a sip of the tequila for her? Like, really? Garcelle, Crystal, Diana, and Dorit are talking about the conversation that Garcelle was having with Erika at the dinner table. And because Garcelle did not want to make it seem like she was talking behind Erika's back, she calls Erika over. So they start talking about the earrings, of course, and Erika says that she's not going to do anything that is not required of her under the law. So it seems like the other women are persuading her or saying, like, why not just give the earrings back? And Erika's like, under the law, if they're not requiring me to do that, then I'm not going to do that. I just don't understand that train of thought. If these earrings represent something negative and hurtful to other people, why would you keep them when it can help them? Crystal says, is there nothing that she wants to do outside of the law? Meaning, if they don't require Erika to do certain things, is there something that Erika wants to do externally to kind of help these people out? And Erika's like, nope, there's nothing that I want to do. That right there just shows you that she has no heart for these people. And the fact that she's not willing to do anything is ridiculous. Even Diana says, you know what, everybody is coming after Erika, telling her she should give these earrings back. Maybe we all should just contribute something. I mean, even she says that. Diana goes on to say that justice is based on facts. Maybe in your world, that's how it works, Diana, but in a lot of other people's world, that's just not it. Yeah, I thought Kathy was funny in the background. She's locking the windows and fixing curtains while these women are having this deep conversation. And I also want to point out that these women are definitely at this point either high or drunk. They're slurring their words. It's hard for me to understand some of the things that they're saying. I felt like there was not one sober person in the room. Garcelle says that she doesn't think Erika has compassion for the victims because she feels that if Erika shows she has compassion for the victims, that's an admission of guilt. Erika's like, I'm not guilty. That's why I fight as hard as I do. Crystal says it's about trying to make people whole. At this point, Erika is irate and she's yelling at Crystal, saying there's a place to make people whole, and that's the court of law. Of course, these women are judging Erika because they can't understand what most of us can't understand, which is how can you be married to this man and not know that he has things going on? And then secondly, why don't you have compassion for these victims? So I'm not going to lie. Yes, they are kind of giving their 2 cents, but if the shoe was on the other foot, Erika would be doing the same thing. Erika says to Crystal, the law matters. And if you don't understand that, you are an amateur and get out. I didn't know what the heck Erika was talking about here, calling Crystal an amateur. Like, so are you a professional at getting lawsuits and having these types of things happen to you all the time? And where is she getting out of? This is not your house. Please stop. So Crystal is saying, well, these people are owed this money. And Erika's like, prove it. I mean, did the people really lose money? So here we go again with Erika questioning whether or not these victims are telling the truth. This is not the first time that she's done this. If you guys remember earlier in the season, she was sitting amongst the group. I believe it was at Kyle's house. And she was basically saying that she may not fully believe the victims. I don't even like Erika like that. But at this point, I'm looking at her like, for your own good, shut your mouth. Don't say anything else. You've already said enough. Sidebar. Last year, Erika made this big thing about, oh, I can't say this and I can't say that. But it just seems like this year, she's just saying any and everything that she wants to say. So what is the difference between last year and this year? Erika goes on to say it's a civil lawsuit. It's not a situation of guilt or innocence. So right there, girl, you're basically alluding to the fact that it doesn't matter if you're guilty because it's a civil lawsuit. Like, you have to be very careful. This is why lawyers will tell you, like, don't say anything because you could incriminate yourself. Perfect example of what's happening right now. Just looking at Kyle and Rena's face, I mean, that says it all. And these are her friends. You would think that one of them at this point would have got up and said, okay, Erika, let's go home. Nope, they allowed this show to keep on playing out. Erika goes on to call the victims potential victims and says, who knows if they are telling the truth or not. Erika, girl, wrong Wrong move, girl. Wrong move. Kyle says on the couch, that's not cool what Erika is saying right now. Kyle says in her confessional that if it were her, she would put out a statement asking for patience with the process so that everything can come out the way that it's supposed to. Of course, that's what you're supposed to say when you're in these situations. Clearly, Erika has never said that, nor has she received that memo. Now, I hear what Kyle is saying in the background, but she ain't saying nothing right now to Erika's face. So until you're able to do that, Kyle, please be quiet. Crystal says, the only thing I think about is the victims. Erika says, I don't care about anybody but myself. And there you go. She said everything. At this point, she said everything that we need to know. If we don't know what position she has about this whole situation now, something is wrong with you. Now, Kyle decides she wants to chime in and says it's not just about how the law plays out, but there are victims involved. Erika says, even if that is the case, I'm not a part of the law firm. I didn't have anything to do with these people. I don't know who these people are. Garcelle then asks Erika, well, do you believe that there are victims? Erika says if there are victims, it should be litigated. So I guess she decided at this point, I'm not going to say again that I really don't believe that there are victims. Kyle says to Erika, listen, you should have a little sympathy for these victims. And Erika says to Kyle, the only person that you should be worried about is me. This is the problem, Erika. Like, you are so daggone selfish. And you can see like this is breaking Kyle's heart. It looks to me at this point in time that Kyle is starting to see that Erika is not who she thought Erika was, and is starting to also see, I can't defend this woman, not when she's talking crazy like this. So Kyle is, getting upset and trying to plead her case and starts cursing, and I thought it was hilarious. Kathy's like, Kyle, stop cursing, knock it off. That was funny to me. I don't know why, but I got a good laugh at that. Because Erika is not showing compassion for the victims, Kyle's like, I can't defend you. It almost seems at this point like Kyle is on the verge of hysterics. She's like pleading with Erika, stop saying that. You don't have compassion for the victims. Erika says, why are you so hung up on this? And Kyle says to Erika, well, I'm trying to help you be your own victim. What in the world does that mean? So basically Kyle's saying, girl, I'm trying to help you continue this narrative that you too are a victim. But you're not allowing me to do that because you keep saying you don't have compassion for the actual victim. You see how these people try to cover up for one another? It's laughable to me at this point in time. So you're trying to defend this woman who you know could potentially have been aware that this was happening. Erika says, I'm not a victim. So Kyle says, well, if you're not a victim, what do you want to be called? And Erika says, I've been a wife that's beloved and ruined. At least that's what I think she said, y'all. Like I said, these women's words are slurred. They're incoherent at times. So I don't know. I believe that's what she said. So finally, Renna says to Dorit, okay, we need to get her out of here. Renna says in her confessional, certain things you just can't come back from. So it's Lisa, Renna, Dorit, and Diana escorting Erika out of this guest house, bringing her back to Kyle's house. And while they're trying to get her out of the house, Erika is calling these women all types of names. And I guess like at this point, she's particularly directing her anger towards Kyle, which is funny to me because Kyle has supported Erika from the jump. Sure, she had questions, but at every turn she has defended Erika and tried to show Erika that she's standing by her. And this is what she gets in return. If Kyle feels so strongly about this, which clearly she does, it's kind of hard for me to see how she and Erika are able to move forward from this. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Until next time, bye-bye.